on this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen Live.
I'm Kevin Oxner.
And I'm Russell Nimitz.
And I'm Marvin Kokash.
Thanks for joining us for this special 2-hour live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. We'll be bringing you all the sights and sounds of the 2012 NCBA Trade Show.
We have a lot to share with you,
so don't go away.
And now, your host, Kevin Oxner, live from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hello and welcome to this very special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. We're live tonight from the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Tonight, we're bringing you all the excitement of this event straight to you. And to help me with that is reporter Russell Nimitz from Northern Ag Network in Montana. Hey, Russell, how are you?
Hey, Kevin, and thank you. As I said last night, I am so excited to be here in Nashville and helping to cover this year's Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. How could we not be excited with a record attendance and some of the most amazing times ever in the U.S. beef cattle industry? And over the next couple of hours, we're going to bring you some of the sights and sounds from this year's NCBA Trade Show. But in the meantime, we'll send it back to you.
We'll be talking about some of those trends as well. We'll be talking to you very shortly. My other partner in crime is none other than somebody many folks know. That's Marvin Kokash from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Hey, Marvin.
Hey, Kevin. There's no better place to start this trade show in the 2012 convention than at the Taste of Tennessee booth. But before we do that, I want to put a shout out to my family out in Northeast Colorado and all the hardworking cattle producers across the United States that can't be here tonight. But boy, I wish everybody was here because I'm going to show you some of the most exciting technology that the cattle industry has to offer. Kevin, we are going to surprise everyone with the diversity of products and services that we have to bring cattle producers tonight. Kevin, let's get it rolling.
Thanks, Marvin. Have fun out there. We'll be back to you in just a few moments. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association is the largest and the oldest organization representing the interests of American cattlemen. And joining me to talk about NCBA is Forrest Roberts. He's the Chief Executive Officer of NCBA. Welcome to Nashville, Forrest.
You bet, Forrest. Glad to be in Nashville here.
You've got a busy week ahead of you, but I want to take a couple of minutes with you. And first of all, Forrest, I feel a sense of electricity and excitement and a momentum that, frankly, I haven't felt in a long time. What's some of the key wins in 2011 that has caused this momentum?
Well, there's no doubt. There's a sense of electricity and momentum here in Nashville and Music City. The 2011 was one of those years full of a lot of change and a lot of challenge. And while we fully respect what's happened with Mother Nature bringing drought to certain areas of the U.S. cattle industry, we had some wins on behalf of producers. We had an opportunity to bring, for example, some groundbreaking research forward as a project that's going to look at how we measure the footprint of the U.S. beef industry from an environmental point of view, from an economic point of view, and also from more of a societal point of view. We were able to also leverage some more research in the area of human nutrition. Kevin, we think that research is going to really change this paradigm of beef causes heart disease to beef is really a part of a heart-healthy diet.
Yeah, that's the BOLD study that you all did, is that right?
Right. That is what we call the BOLD study, or beef in an optimal lean diet.
Tell us more about that.
Well, it's an opportunity for us to take several years of research and bring it forward in a way through human nutrition influencers or dietitians in a meaningful way that, again, it really changes that paradigm that some consumers have. And so it's a significant outcome. You know, our team in D.C., Kevin, those folks work every day on behalf of producers across this country to give them a business environment to where they have some freedom to operate. And there were several areas where we pushed back on regulation that was going to be detrimental to that. But you know what? At the same time, we were also able to pull forward some really positive outcomes, like the free trade agreements.
Yeah. What do you think that's going to mean to the beef industry?
You know, in 2012, we very well could see the value for export markets around this globe. It's going to put an additional incremental $230, $240 a head back into producers' pockets. And that's significant. And, you know, one thing, Kevin, we're really proud of is we were able to really work together across all of our state partners. And we were able to really go outside of the beef industry and really partner with American agriculture and look at telling the story of how food is produced in a way that really enhances consumer trust. And we did that through the U.S. Farmers and Ranchers Alliance. So I think we built a lot of momentum in 2011, and we can feel it here already in 2012, and especially here in Music City and Nashville.
Well, let's talk about 2012 for just a minute. First of all, the beef industry at large, before I ask a specific question about NCBA. Front page news the other day on the money section of USA Today, beef prices going higher. What are the opportunities and challenges for the beef industry this next year?
Well, we feel the industry, there is an opportunity of a lifetime for people, no matter whether you're 20 years of age or 70 years of age, because of the opportunity for growth. And we feel like the demand for beef domestically and in all these key export markets around the globe is substantial. And that demand has created an opportunity with the 30 million head cow herd, which is now, as you know, Kevin, back down to about the 1950 levels. We think the analysis tells us over the next several years, providing Mother Nature works with us a little bit and gives us moisture in some much needed areas like where I'm from in South Texas, we could put 3, maybe 5 to 6 million cows back into this industry. That's the level of demand that we have, but we need to make sure we're continuing to market beef, position beef at the center of the plate so that we don't have consumers pushing back and going to poultry.
One last question before I let you go. What are your priorities in 2012 from an NCBA standpoint?
You know, 2012 is going to be about creating that area of demand that we just talked about. So, for example, this bold research, we're going to be able to really leverage that to change the paradigms that we just talked about. Estate tax, that is a major area of focus for our team to provide a permanent solution for estate tax, which is really disrupting a lot of potential family operations. And then last but not least, when we talk about these key export markets, we just brought 3 free trade agreements across the finish line in 2011. We got to implement those so that we can continue to capture that incremental value. So a busy year ahead, one that we feel is going to be full of excitement, some challenge too, and some change, but an opportunity of a lifetime to be in the beef cattle industry here in this country right now today.
And thank you for your leadership.
You bet. Thanks, Kevin. Great to be here.
Join Forrest Roberts is a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Call us now at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit us at beefusa.org. All right, well, let's head out to the trade show floor and see what reporter Marvin Kokash has cooked up for us.
Kevin, as you know, I love brand new farm equipment. And tonight I've got a special treat for everyone at home. With me tonight, I've got Scott Raish from Case IH. Scott, tell us what you're introducing at this year's show.
Well, today is the start of Field of Deals. Now through April 30th, customers can take advantage of 0% financing on Farmall, Maxim, Puma Series tractors, as well as special financing on select hay and forage equipment. Along with that, we've got a special promotion tied to a limited Case IH edition Ram 1500 series truck that we're going to be giving away as part of our Field of Deals promotion. All they need to do is stop by a local Case IH dealer and register for that giveaway, as well as take advantage of that special offer. Now, as you know, Case IH equipment is known for its efficiency, its power, and its versatility, something I think today's cattlemen can really take advantage of.
Oh, absolutely, Scott. I think one last thing I want to make sure. So you've got this special auction going on. Tell us me a little bit more about that special auction, so how we can, or this special opportunity. I want to make sure everybody at home is clear.
Okay, well, what you're talking about is Red Power. And actually, we kicked off here at the start of 2012 our Red Power skid steer. It is a Alpha Series Case skid steer that's tricked out. It's customized. It's got chrome. It's got leather seat. It's got satellite radio. It is just one honking fancy skid steer that we're going to be taking around to select shows throughout the year, basically leading up to the Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa later this year, to auction it off with all the proceeds going to the National FFA Foundation to support scholarships.
Scott, that is an absolute wonderful cause. And if you get a chance, get down to your local dealer and check out some of this new and great farm equipment. There's so many solutions here for cattle producers at the Case IH booth. It's just a great opportunity. Kevin, come by after we get done with the show. I gotta show you these new tractors.
Well, thanks, Marvin. We'll be back to you very soon. Let's continue our visit, though, to the trade show floor and check in with our fellow from Big Sky Country, Russell Nemitz. Russell, how's it going out there?
Hey there, Kevin. Things are going awful good out here on the NCBA trade floor. We're now at the Purina booth, and there is a lot of activity here, friends. We have a lot of products to talk about, and just off camera, there's actually a blackjack table. We'll talk about that in a second or so, but first, we have Rod Newlick with us from Purina, and an old friend of mine from Northern Ag Network Country, Scott George, the Vice President of the NCBA. And Scott, tell us, what the heck are you doing in the Purina booth? I should have known with the blackjack table here.
Well, I actually stopped by to talk to Rod here in the Purina booth. Purina's been a long-time sponsor and partner with NCBA, and I just wanted to stop by and visit with him, see some of the products he's got.
We thank you for your outstanding commitment to America's beef cattle industry, all the way from Cody, Wyoming. Now to Rod Newlick. Let's talk about some excitement here in 2012 from Land O'Lakes Purina.
Yeah, we really think that this is going to be a really exciting year in 2012 because, we know that this is so important to get a good, live, viable calf out of these cows this year, more than ever before with the value of these calves. And one way to assure that is to make sure that they're on a good mineral program. This year we'll be rolling out, I guess you could call this our storm warning. We're going to be rolling out a storm formula mineral, which means it's very weather resistant, but it's very palatable so that the cows eat it. And it's absorbed very well by the cow. So we think it's going to be a great rollout for us in 2012.
So how exciting is it to serve the U.S. beef cattle industry in times like this?
It is great. And we deserve it, I think. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone in over the years, and we know that these people are passionate about the cattle business. So when we can come in times like this, when they can actually, we've got some good profitability out there, it's a lot of fun.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to join us on Cattlemen to Cattlemen tonight. And I guess I should let you get back to all these wonderful trade show attendees and maybe a blackjack game or two.
We've got a blackjack game going on in the booth. So if anybody's thinking about coming down here to the trade show, we're giving away a Remington bronze every day to one of our blackjack players. So get on down here and have some fun.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. And good luck, Mr. George, on that blackjack game.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for now from the Purina booth. We're going to send it back to Kevin.
Well, thank you, Russell, and we'll be seeing you soon. Each year, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association elects a volunteer leader to guide the organization. And this year's leader comes to us from a feed yard in eastern Nebraska. Let's spend a day in the life of 2012 NCBA President J.D. Alexander.
J.D. Alexander believes his part of eastern Nebraska is one of the best places in the world to raise cattle.
We're above the Ogallala Aquifer, which is a natural underwater lake, which allows us to have irrigation wells that are not very deep to irrigate the ground. That, of course, grows the corn to feed the cattle. Where there's corn, the ethanol industry has popped up, and we're very heavily users of the ethanol byproducts. The other thing that's very unique about us is we have access to a lot of feeder cattle. We can go in a big radius, and anymore the trucking seems to be a non-issue, that we'll haul cattle for 1,000 miles to come into our feedlot. And the final really good thing about our location and in our feedlot is when we go to our final product and sell to the packers, we have 5 major packers within 150 miles that we have an opportunity to sell to.
A third-generation cattle feeder, J.D. was born and raised on his family's operation and has spent most of his life here.
Today, we're about a 5,000 head feedlot. We'll try and market around 12 to 13,000 or so head of cattle a year. We also have 2,000 acres of row crop, which we primarily grow as corn. We feed it all to our cattle, plus we have to buy about another fair amount to utilize all of it. So we're a very family-orientated operation.
Along with his wife Deb and their children, J.D. is working to ensure the next generation of Alexanders will be able to stay in the cattle industry. And he says that's one of the reasons he's been active for years in the National Cattlemen's Beef Association.
I guess I got started very young. I liked it. It gave me a chance to meet other people in our business, professionals and so on. Opened up a different array of things that you can do to affect your business. And I kind of just enjoyed that, liked the people, and so I've been involved in it ever since. Very much looking forward to the next year as serving as president of the NCBA.
As NCBA president, J.D. will spend much of the year on the road, traveling to represent the industry's interests at home and abroad. It's something his family says he's well prepared for.
It's something that I'm really glad for him to do. Really, there's no better man for the job. He knows all facets of the beef industry inside and out. He's been kind of stepped his way up through the program, started on local levels, worked up to state, national, and now, of course, becoming president of NCBA, he's kind of done it all. And it's not very often that a son gets to say he's proud of his father. Usually it's the other way around. So it truly makes me feel good to say, you know, my dad is doing something this great.
Whatever he wants to get done, he'll get done. I know that about him. And he's taught all of us that whatever you want in life, never be satisfied, but always be humble and just keep going, and he's gonna do it.
When I met JD 40 years ago, he was a leader, but he was a quiet leader. And in the last 40 years, probably has found his voice. I think a lot of people will agree with me on that. He'll be a great spokesperson for the producer. He's very concerned about the industry. It's his passion, it's his love. And I think it's going to be an exciting adventure for everyone.
Because of his experience within NCBA, J.D. is a believer in the value of cattlemen and women being unified on the critical issues that impact their operations and the cattle industry.
We're a grassroots organization, so if you have an issue that you want to bring up, you have a voice to bring that to the highlight and have the organization respond to what your needs are. So I look at it, too, as it's a great camaraderie. You know, I'm a believer in working with your fellow neighbors and working together and joining forces and having something very worthwhile fighting for.
There's power in numbers, and you will find your voice in the numbers. JD will be very approachable as far as leading the organization. He'll listen to you, listen to your concerns. It's hard to get things accomplished on your own, and I think NCBA has the best interest of all producers involved in the industry.
As NCBA president, J.D. expects to take on a wide variety of issues, including government overregulation, expanding international markets, global competition, and the shrinking cattle herd.
Our numbers right now are about as low as they've ever been. And, the concern is if you create such a demand, you just want to make sure you can be able to supply it as well. I am confident that the market will move in directions to where these things will even out, and while we're increasing demand for our product around the world, that we will be able to supply it.
Being NCBA president will mean a lot of time on the road for J.D., but that's something he's used to, thanks to another of his passions.
I enjoy going out and motorcycling. It's a good way to be out in the open. Can do it pretty easily from this part of the world. But I really do enjoy going on trips in particular. I've got some friends that we usually go on a trip about once a year and see some very beautiful country across the United States.
J.D.'s passion for the industry, his depth of experience, and his ability to connect with others all have prepared him for his new role as NCBA president. And his love of family will help him stay connected to home.
It's going to be tough, but thank goodness for technology. He's already gone quite a bit even in this last year. And so with technology, there's always cell phones, email, text. They're great tools for this job. And so even when there's questions, he's only a phone call or a text away. JD's a huge family man, and that's, family is what got him to where he is today. And I know he won't ever forget it, but that's one thing I always remind him is there's always people back here who love and think about him even when he's 2,000 miles away overseas.
I've always been a believer in being part of something bigger than just yourself. And I guess it kind of got instilled in me early on, actually, before I actually came back to the operation, is you have professional organizations that look out for the betterment of your industry. And I realized that you really need this. You need camaraderie. You need to have fellow cattlemen work together to work for the betterment of the industry to make it a better place to work in.
Reporting from Pilger, Nebraska, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
And joining me in studio is J.D. Alexander himself. Welcome, J.D., and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, especially in this great setting of Nashville.
Absolutely. Hey, I know, and many other folks know, that you've been on the board for the last, 4 or 5 years, but frankly, your volunteer efforts at NCBA started long before that. Tell us a little bit about that.
That is correct. I'm a believer in you've got to have a voice in your industry, and I've been active on the local level all the way to the state level. I've served on different committees of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, Nebraska Cattlemen, my local association, as well as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association for many years. So I've got a little bit of a background in the industry, but I serve because I know it's important and believe in it.
Absolutely. And tell me this. As you think about this next year, surely you have some specific priorities and things that you'd like to accomplish for the organization. Pivotal year politically in our government, and certainly economic issues that we're facing as cattle producers. What are some of your top priorities for 2012?
Well, it has been a great year in 2011, and we're looking for another good year in 2012. The main thing is we're going to have our boots on the hill. We're going to be looking out for the cattlemen across the nation so we don't get government overrun or government regulation that really hampers our businesses. One of the big things I'm looking at this year, and I'm a believer in passing on your operations to the next generation, the estate tax is coming back into play. We're going to be watching that very closely because that's really the root of how we're going to keep our young people in the rural America. So that's been one of my top priorities. Another is our international foreign markets. I'm a believer in trading around the world, and I think that we've got the best product to move around the world, and we want to make sure that we have open and trading access to a lot of the countries. So that'd be a few of them that we're looking forward to, as well as just running the association. Yeah, we've got a great group of people, a great group of employees that do a lot of good for the industry.
Yeah, a lot of momentum going, I should say. Yeah. One last question for you. Folks at home may not be members of NCBA or may never have attended a convention like this. What would you want people to know about NCBA?
I want them to know that we're looking out for them every day. I have a saying that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And we know that not everybody can be there every day, cannot be at their local state to lobby the legislature. They can't be at Washington, D.C. to talk to their congressman, but NCBA can. And we're going to be their representative day in and day out looking at things so they are not on the menu and have something detrimental happen to their industry. So I do think that we're the best professional association there is for the cattle industry.
Thank you for your time. We'll see you back here many more times throughout this next year. Have a great convention.
Very, very much so looking forward to it. And it is a great venue again, and encourage everybody to have a good time in Nashville.
Very good. Join J.D. Alexander as a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The number to call is 1-866-USA-BEEF, or you can visit us at beefusa.org. Ahead on this special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll check in with our Washington, D.C. staff to learn what's happening on Capitol Hill. Plus, a very special appearance from our favorite cowboy poet. We'll be right back.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
What does red mean? At Case IH, it means power, efficiency, versatility. The Case IH family of tractors and hay tools helps you get the job done. To get even more done, visit your local Case IH dealer today and enter for a chance to win a new 2012 Ram truck and a year's worth of fuel. Plus, get great deals on balers, windrowers, and Farmall, Maxim, and Puma tractors. during our Field of Deals sales event. To learn more, visit your local Case IH dealer or caseihdeals.com.
Your stocker operation is a pack-on-the-pounds enterprise where your goal is to get the animals to the feed yard fast. Every minute counts as you battle the weather, livestock genetics, and health issues. Now, there's a powerful new dual-action therapy for your doctoring crew that shares your need for fast action. Resflor Gold. Ask your veterinarian about Resflor Gold. See improvement in as few as 6 hours with Resflor Gold.
Max Armstrong here. Generation after generation, our farmers and ranchers work sun up to sundown to provide food for our families here at home and around the world. By 2050, our global population will reach 9 billion, creating even greater needs that American agriculture will help meet. Celebrate Ag Day on March 8th, 2012. Get great ideas at agday.org. American agriculture. Abundant, affordable, amazing.
Join Bob Cervera and Paige Wallace as they host the Angus Report Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on RFD TV. The half-hour show is the first morning news program created by a beef breed association for beef cattle producers. The program will also include recipes and beef preparation tips from chefs at Certified Angus Beef Brand. We'll also take viewers across the country to industry shows. That's the Angus Report, Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 2:30 p.m. right here on RFD TV.
Reg Stegall is serving up the best of all things cowboy in the bunkhouse with Reg Stegall showcases traditional country and western music and includes interviews with legendary cowboys and guests and some of the best chuck wagon cooking around. So grab your favorite coffee mug and join us at the campfire with America's favorite cowboy singer and storyteller, Reg Stegall. In the bunkhouse with Reg Stegall. Mondays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Right here on RFD TV.
I'm Amber Jenny, and I'll be reporting on stories that matter to you. I grew up in a small rural town in Illinois. My grandfather's a farmer, so I understand the importance of farm living. I've covered everything from county fairs and demo derbies to how major weather events can affect a farmer's crop. It's news that focuses on real, everyday people. I'm Amber Jenny. Join me in February on Rural TV.
Welcome back to this special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. We're coming to you straight from the trade show floor of the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Nashville, Tennessee. And joining me are Colin Woodall, Vice President of Government Affairs at NCBA, and Christina Butts, Executive Director of Legislative Affairs. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Good to be with you.
You know, you've had an interesting and at times challenging year, but some big wins, Colin. Tell us about some of those.
Some huge wins for the cattle industry. First and foremost, we have to talk about the passage of the free trade agreements. You know, for the cattle industry, it's all about access into other markets and to make sure that people around the world can eat our high-quality beef. Yeah. And right now, trade is worth about $220 per marketed head. It's a lot of money for producers. So the passage of those agreements are just great opportunities, and we look forward to working on a few more. A close number two is what we were able to do on dust. You know, farm dust regulation is something we've been fighting now for several years, and to finally get a commitment from the EPA to not move forward with that really protects farmers and ranchers. And finally, the GIPSA rule. You know, we've been talking about this one as well. It would have really changed the way we market cattle. And we had a change in the way that rule was proposed, and as such, all of the provisions that were really going to impact the cattle industry got pulled back.
But you can never be asleep at the wheel in Washington, D.C. And Christina, tell us a little bit about some of your 2012 priorities.
It was actually 1 year ago this week whenever our producers actually put together our priorities for NCBA's efforts on the 2012 Farm Bill. And it's looking like the Farm Bill is going to continue to be a topic of conversation for both the House and Senate Ag Committee this year, and there might be a vote in 2013, if not in 2012. So we're gearing up all efforts on the Farm Bill front to make sure that members of Congress on the Ag Committee understand the priorities, which the first one is the removal of the livestock title. We're also engaging on the conservation title, and then we're also going to be focusing a lot of efforts on the research side. So a second issue that's been most recently introduced is legislation that would actually put forward production practices for laying hens. And this is actually an agreement between the United Egg Producers and the Humane Society of the United States. So this is a hot topic of conversation this week at convention. A lot of our producers have already been talking to us about it, and it will be a priority for NCBA to defeat this legislation moving forward in D.C.
Very good. Colin, there's a little election coming up next fall, and been getting a lot of publicity, obviously, the last several days with primaries and so forth. What's the impact on cattle producers?
Well, the impact on all of agriculture is huge because whoever's in the White House controls the EPA, the Food and Drug Administration, USDA, all of these agencies that have the ability to regulate all of us in the cattle community. So making sure that we have somebody who's friendly to our needs is very important. So that's why we're going to be watching this presidential election very closely. But equally as important are the election for both the members of the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, because that determines who controls the agriculture committees, the committees on energy and commerce, the ones that really make all those laws that result in the rules that then come out of EPA. So there's some high stakes here when you look at the future leadership of this nation and what happens this coming November.
In more than just the cattle industry, certainly.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you both and your entire team for what you do on our behalf in our nation's capital.
Thank you, Kevin.
Support the work of Colin and Christina and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association by joining us as a member today. Call now at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit us at beefusa.org. Well, let's return to the fun and excitement right down on the trade show floor. We'll be checking in now with our reporter, Russell Nemitz. Hey there, Russell.
Hey there, Kevin. That's right. We are now at the Merck Animal Health booth, and with us on the program here on Cattlemen to Cattlemen is Dr. Eric Moore. And Dr. Moore, thanks for joining us on this evening's program. Let's first talk about what's new with Res4 Gold.
Well, Res4 Gold, is relatively new itself. We launched it 2 years ago at San Antonio, so it's a new kid on the block. It's one of the latest products to combine a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory and a premium antibiotic, New4 Gold and Banamine.
So tell us how the industry has accepted this new treatment that combines that antibiotic and a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent that you were just mentioning.
Well, we've had extremely good uptake because what we have is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory in a route of administration that we give sub-Q. We listened to the producers and veterinarians after we launched the product, and we also added a mycoplasma claim. So now we have a product that reduces fever and then treats the 4 major pathogens of BRD, Mannheimia hemolytica, Pasteurella multocida, Histophilus somni, and Mycoplasma bovis.
So tell us what you like most about Res4 Gold and combating diseases like BRD or bovine respiratory disease.
I love the fact that we can see a difference in one dose. We have a product that gets to the site of infection fast. It's above the MIC for all the major BRD pathogens in 30 minutes. And it also reduces the fever, getting those cattle feeling better and back to the bunk.
So tell me, are there any challenges associated with using Res4 Gold that we should be aware of?
Absolutely. You know that as with New4, Res4 Gold, New4 Gold, it's a very thick product, and that's part of the characteristics that makes it a great product for treatment. What we do on that regard is we provide a series of tools to help make that product application easier. We have warmers, guns. You just need to talk to your Merck Animal Health representative, veterinarian, or animal health supplier to get those products for free.
So lastly, what are 2 things that our viewers should know about as we say goodbye and talk about Res4 Gold?
Res4 Gold is fast-acting. It's long-lasting. It reduces fever. It makes a difference in one dose that you can see the cattle get better. And lastly, it's something that it should be your #1 choice for BRD treatment.
Dr. Eric Moore, thanks for stopping by and joining us on Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Thank you.
Don't go too far because we're going to be back here later in the program to talk a little bit more about pink eye treatment. Kevin, that's going to do it from the Merck Animal Health booth, at least for now. We'll send it back to you.
Well, thanks, Russell, and thank you to our good friends at Merck Animal Health. And now it's time to turn things over to our other outstanding roving reporter. That's Marvin Kokash. Marvin, where does the evening find you?
Kevin, I know you're stuck at the stage, but I've picked out a pair of boots for you. And they're your color. They're pink, brown, and I think they'll fit. With me tonight, I have Carrie Vastine. Carrie's with Roper and Stetson Boots and Apparel. Carrie, tell me about how you got involved with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Tell me about this relationship.
Well, last year we were invited to the convention in Denver by Marvin. We went down, we set up a booth, and I quickly discovered that all of the NCBA members would make amazingly wonderful Roper and Stetson customers at the same time. I saw a lot of our existing core customers out there, a lot of cowboy hats, a lot of boots, a lot of jeans, and I felt that all those guys would be awesome Roper and Stetson customers. And a lot of them were, but a lot of them weren't. So I worked with Marvin. We are now the official apparel and boots of the NCBA. So now we're back here this year in full force with a bigger and better booth. So we're just really excited to have all your members be all our customers. So,
well, Carrie, I can tell you it's been a great relationship, and one of the greatest things about being an NCBA member today is if you join NCBA, you'll get a coupon off your purchase of 50% off coupon off your purchase of Roper and Stetson boots and apparel at a wonderful website. It's urbanwesternwear.com/NCBA. You can go on there and check it out. Then as a current member of NCBA, you get 4 25% off coupons to the same website. It's a fantastic relationship. Carrie, you have a lot of things here at your trade show booth. Tell me a few things that you've got you're highlighting here at the NCBA this year.
Well, we got a whole section back here of all of our Stetson boots, all of our wonderful apparel all out in the front. Then we've got a great selection of Roper footwear over here as well. So, and anybody that signs up today at the convention can actually get a coupon and bring it to our booth and get 50% off of their first purchase and 25% off all additional purchases here during the convention. So,
well, Carrie, we really appreciate the relationship. And Kevin, I'm going to bring you your brand new pink boots. Carrie's been so nice. He's got the perfect set for you. So, hey, come by and check us out here at the Roper and Stetson booth, the NCBA Trade Show. Kevin, we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, that's the best news I've heard all night. I'm looking forward to seeing those boots, and we'll see you soon, Marvin. Now, he's a regular on our show each and every week, but this week, he's not out there. He's right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Of course, I'm talking about Baxter Black. Baxter, welcome to the show.
Well, nice to be here.
We sure enjoy
Appreciate
your
it.
spot every week.
Well, you do awfully good work yourself. It's amazing. You always know what to say. And now I realize why, because it's all written on the telephone.
It makes me look smart, doesn't it?
Well, you are smart.
And it doesn't rhyme like your stuff, right?
I've told people he's smart. It just doesn't show on television.
This is my interview, though, Baxter, so I got to ask you. You know, you are always so dapper. I mean, the scarves you come up with, you always have a different scarf on. But tonight, is that a new hat?
That is a new hat. Now,
Tell me about that.
Well, I was talking to J.D. Alexander, the new incoming president, about hats, and he's kind of on a farmer edge.
Yes.
So he's not real comfortable wearing a cowboy hat.
They gave him a new hat yesterday, actually.
Yes, we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But I said, well, why don't you just wear a ball cap? I mean, cattleman to cattleman
that would
puts
be a
out
good
these
idea.
beautiful ball caps because the cattleman farmers, they don't like wearing hats.
That's right.
And J.D. gave me a pointer or two. I said, well, how do you wear one of these hats? Well, he said, there's 3 positions.
Okay.
He said, there's off, on, and cocked. So that's J.D., and he's cocked and ready.
Hey, a couple of questions for you. You know, a lot of people know that you're a poet, and some people may not know that you weren't educated at an Eastern Liberal Arts school in poetry. You actually were a practicing veterinarian. I know it may be a shock to a lot of
The
people.
secret's out.
Tell us the Baxter Black backstory.
Is my plastic sleeve showing? Oh, just one of those circumstances. What I really wasn't was an entertainer. What I really was a veterinarian.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of money and time to get through vet school. But by a quirk of fate, I became a traveling circus, because if I was a vet, I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
That's very fair.
Right?
And you wouldn't be writing. I mean, you've written how many books?
I will answer that question as FDR answered it one time. When asked the same question, he said, altogether, too many. But we do have a new one.
Yes, tell us about that. The
It's called
Lessons from the Desperado
Funny
Poet.
we have it. This is. I thought we had Vanna White here to come in with this.
A children's book, or what do we have here?
Well, if you consider J.D. Alexander a child, it's called Lessons from a Desperado Poet. That's what I learned working for John Basavi, who was the manager of the Simplot Livestock Company when I went up there. And he taught me these three things: how to find your way when you don't have a map, how to win the game when you don't know the rules, and when somebody says it can't be done, what they mean is they can't do it.
Outstanding.
So I'm going to be in the Sweet Licks booth tomorrow, and they will be passing these out, and I will be autographing
You'll be signing them. Baxter, thanks so much for coming to the
You're
show.
welcome, you're welcome.
And for your contributions every week. We enjoy it. All right. We're continuing to bring you the sights, the sounds, and even the personalities of the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show, live from Music City, USA. Stay with us. More fun straight ahead. All right, man.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right. Whether it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots, when you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal, that's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
I'm looking forward to having Vista once back. We weren't able to find an equivalent product.
I think our practice will be very quick to adopt Vista when it comes back.
All of my veterinary colleagues have all talked about the product coming back.
We're glad to have Vista back in the product line.
Cattlemen that we work with will be glad to have the product.
We have a lot of producers. They're excited about it coming back.
Yeah, can I recommend Vista once? Yeah, that's going to go right back in the cooler, and it goes right back in the cans.
Welcome to RFD TV's new product showcase featuring today's latest products.
Now you can ensure a better harvest this fall by preparing your soils this spring. Monty's Liquid Carbon is an organic soil conditioner that is readily available to move into your soil, offering relief from your toughest challenges. Liquid Carbon also helps improve nutrient efficiency, and Monty's Tank Mix flexibility makes burn down the perfect time to improve your soil and maximize your yield potential. For more information and to find a dealer, visit Monty'sPlantFood.com.
While some fiber ads use supermodels, Metamucil uses super hard-working psyllium fiber, which gels to remove unsexy waste and reduce cholesterol. Taking psyllium fiber won't make you a model, but you should feel a little more super. Metamucil, down with cholesterol.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marty Stewart. Join me in Nashville, Tennessee as we take a ticket to ride. It's for the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's a great chance for networking, education, and fun, and it's your chance to see an exclusive event at one of my favorite venues, the Grand Ole Opry. It's February 1st through the 4th. Now get details at beefusa.org and check me out on the Marty Stewart Show on RFD TV.
We know you have a choice in watching rural programming. Thanks for watching All Around Performance Horse on RFD TV, rural America's most important network.
If you like RFD TV, you're gonna love Rural TV, a new second television network to better serve the rural world. Set to launch in February, Rural TV will expand on RFD TV's popular family-oriented programming format. More ag, more equine, more traditional music and entertainment. All the viewer requests not possible to add to RFD TV will now air on Rural TV. So get ready, rural America. Rural TV is coming. Stay tuned for details.
We're continuing our tour of the 2012 NCBA Trade Show from Nashville, Tennessee. Let's head back to Marvin Kokash out at the Merck Animal Health booth. Hey, Marvin.
Hey, Kevin. You know, every week we're proud to bring Cattlemen to Cattlemen in your home on RFD TV. And it would not be possible without our sponsorship of our great friends at Merck Animal Health. With me tonight at from Merck Animal Health, I've got Dr. Rick Sybil. Rick, there's a lot of things going on in the industry, a lot of great technologies. But one thing I'm going to focus on tonight is respiratory disease. What are some of the long-term effects of respiratory disease?
Great question. Respiratory disease in cattle is the #1 problem that we got to deal with from an infectious disease point of view. It really impacts the growing calves the most, and as they go into the feed yard or they go into stocker operations, and it impacts them in several ways. They have reduced performance. They have reduced longevity in the herd if they're reproductive animals, and everything else about the reproductive cycle is shortened up usually and not as efficient when they are suffering from lung infection.
Okay. You know, there are a lot of vaccines available for respiratory disease. What are some of the things that a producer or a veterinarian needs to look for in a respiratory vaccine?
Well, clearly, you have to take a look at those organisms, viral and bacterial, that impact the respiratory system of the calf. There's usually 4 common viruses, a couple different bacteria, and so you have to rely on the veterinarian to understand what of those organisms are causing the most problem in that area. Once you've made that determination, then you can start choosing the vaccine that best fits in a prophylactic or prevention program.
You know, one thing I know about Merck Animal Health is about the science and the technology they're absolutely based upon. What are some of the things that you've been seeing in your lab about respiratory disease?
Well, multiple diagnostic labs in North America do routine checks for respiratory disease, and recently the University of Wisconsin did a fairly extensive deep pharyngeal swab study where they took swabs, went back to the tonsils of the calf, started taking a look at the bacteria, and what they found was sort of interesting. Pasteurella maltosida became, or was in this study, the most common organism pulled from these calves with pneumonia. Before, it had always been Mannheimia hemolytica, and so now we got to pay a lot of attention to Pasteurella maltosida because it seems to be an emerging disease.
You know, what makes Vista line of vaccines optimal for cattle producers for the, really that complete control of respiratory diseases?
Well, Vista has the 4 viruses that we talk about, but it also has the 2 organisms for bacteria, Pasteurella and Mannheimia. So it is an avirulent live culture that goes into the calf with no adjuvant, so it's a very smooth vaccine, and it mimics the calf's immune system very, very closely. So at the end of the day, it brings the Pasteurella maltosida and the Mannheimia in a complete protection package.
You know, there's certain places you can go to get information. Where can veterinarians and producers to go to get more information about Vista and managing respiratory diseases?
Merck has a very large technical services staff, over 20 veterinarians and nutritionists on call 24/7 to help answer questions. We can be reached at 1-800-211-3573. And in addition to that, we have a very large sales force that can help with any of the questions that some of the producers and or veterinarians might ask.
Well, Dr. Sybil, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. There's just the technology that Merck Animal Health brings to cattle producers every day is really key to profitability and the health of today's cow herd. Kevin, back to you at the set.
Thanks so much, Marvin, for that great interview. Let's return now to our friend and reporter, Russell Nemitz. Russell, where does the evening find you?
Well, Kevin, we are now at the RFD TV booth out here on the NCBA trade show floor. And I just want to mention, the great partnership between RFD TV and Cattlemen to Cattlemen make this broadcast possible nationwide tonight from here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, with us on the program is the founder of RFD TV, Patrick Gotch. And Patrick, thanks for taking a little bit of time out to visit with us about RFD TV and your brand new network, Rural TV.
Thanks, Russell. Thanks for being here. Yeah, that's what we're really using the event to kick off. We're within 2 weeks of launching our new channel, Rural TV, which will be launched on February 15th. It's a channel that's really going to be devoted to the business of agriculture in rural America. So we're really excited about this. I saw some rehearsals at our studio this week. We've got a real hustling little crew, and I think people are really going to be pleased if they tune in, again, starting February 15th.
No doubt we are all excited. Now tell us what else you got going on this week here in Nashville during the Cattle Industry Convention.
Well, it's a special week for us because Nashville is our broadcast operations home, so we're working with the folks. We're doing some tours to our studios. People can sign up and take the bus over and tour the studios and meet some of the people behind the scenes. Also, since it's Nashville, we're going to have Marty Stewart and Ralph Emery and some of the other folks that appear on RFD TV all the time in the booth signing autographs. So it's a fun week for us.
Patrick, thanks for joining us tonight on Cattlemen to Cattlemen and telling rural America's great story to the rest of the nation.
Well, congratulations on you guys for the show you're doing. I know we started several years ago with just a half-hour show. Now it's an hour, and every week it does a tremendous service for the cattle industry. Thanks for putting it on RFD TV.
Thanks again. Patrick Gotch, the founder of RFD TV. Kevin, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Russell. The membership of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association develops and implements its policy each and every year. That's just one of the reasons that being an NCBA member is so vitally important. Joining me is one outstanding NCBA member, Dr. Hugh McCampbell from Sweetwater, Tennessee, and he's this year's winner of the Top Hand Award. Welcome back to the show, Dr.
Thank
McCampbell.
You. Glad to be here. Nice of you to have me.
Is this the third year you've won this award?
Yes, sir. This is the third year.
That's fantastic. And tell me, what is your secret to recruiting so darn many folks into NCBA?
Well, I just keep it on my mind and talk to folks every chance I get. Got a lot of nice clients that are willing to join. And I explain the advantages, the education the NCBA gives the public and Congress, and then the fact that the folks in Washington do so much for the cattle industry to keep it where the folks can keep beef on the table and cattle in the pasture.
That's outstanding. And you're very involved in the beef cattle industry. Tell folks your role in the industry.
Well, I'm a country veterinarian. I have a storeroom and a truck, and I just go from place to place all day. My wife answers the phone and does the books, and I do the work and eat.
What people may not know about you is you're a pretty good pianist, and I think you're an incredible advocate for Tennessee cattle. Tell us about the Tennessee cattle industry.
Well, we're very fortunate to have about 3 million acres of grazing land, and that's our strength, where we can be a cow-calf state. Our stockyards at Sweetwater, the East Tennessee Livestock Center, sells more feeder calves than any other stockyards in the state, and we have more cows per square mile than any other state.
That's fantastic. One last thing, you were telling me Tennessee did something pretty special today because of this convention being here. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Our Representative John Fogarty from Southeast Tennessee got a resolution drafted welcoming the National Cattlemen's Beef Association to Tennessee and had several good points about the economic significance of the beef industry in Tennessee before the House of Representatives and also before the Tennessee Senate.
That's outstanding. Dr. McCampbell, thanks for the great work you do.
Thank you. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
I'd like for everybody to remember that Tennessee is the best kept secret in the cattle industry.
Fantastic. And we can see why you're such a good salesman for NCBA and for Tennessee cattle.
Thank you.
Join Dr. Hugh McCampbell as a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. It's easy to do. Just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit us at beefusa.org. We'll continue our adventures at the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show right after this. Stay with us.
TV, you're gonna love Rural TV, a new second television network to better serve the rural world. Set to launch in February, Rural TV will expand on RFD TV's popular family-oriented programming format. More ag, more equine, more traditional music and entertainment. All the viewer requests not possible to add to RFD TV will now air on Rural TV. So get ready, rural America. Rural TV is coming. Stay tuned for details.
They're out there, lurking on your pasture, just waiting to infect your cattle as they graze. Cattle worms cost you money, but a Safeguard strategic deworming program allows you to deworm your cattle and lower worm burdens on your pasture, resulting in improved pregnancy rates and heavier calf weights. Plus, there's a Safeguard form for every operation. So start killing parasites where they lurk. Talk to your animal health provider today about a Safeguard strategic dewormer program. Safeguard. Think strategically. Act decisively.
Hi, I'm Artis Ford, host of Farm Week. On our next show, we'll look back at 2011 in Mississippi agriculture. Mississippi voters elected their first woman commissioner of agriculture, and Republicans now control the Mississippi legislature. It was a weather year as well, as tornadoes killed many. Mississippi landowners are participating in a study of how home water wells may affect the quality of groundwater. Tune into Farm Week on RFD TV, Friday night at 6 and Saturday morning at 4 Eastern Time.
Happy
Thanks for all the kind words and wonderful feedback for RFD TV's broadcast of the Tournament of Roses Parade. We agree, Orion and Pam were terrific hosts, and RFD TV's production team did an outstanding job. For a limited time, RFD TV is now offering a commemorative set of DVDs. Not only will you receive our 2-hour coverage of the 123rd Tournament of Roses Parade, but also our 1-hour Making of the Roy Rogers Float special and the 150-minute Equest Fest show. See it all again, just as if you were in Pasadena at the parade. Order today and receive all 5+ hours for the one price of $29.99, plus $10 for shipping and handling by calling 615-227-9292, going to rfdtv.com and clicking the Rose Parade DVD banner, or send your check to RFD TV, Rose Parade DVD, 1 Valmont Plaza, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154. Don't miss your chance to own a piece of history to enjoy over and over again.
I'm Scott England, co-anchor of Rural TV's Market Day Report. I've been in radio and TV for more than 25 years, and over that time, I've done thousands of stories about rural America and about the passionate people who live there. My mom and dad were raised on a farm. My father-in-law is still a farmer. Yes, I married the farmer's daughter, and now my daughter spends her time on the farm. And I hope you'll spend some time with me. Join me for the Market Day Report, only on Rural TV.
Welcome back to Music City and the 2012 NCBA Trade Show. Let's return to our friend Marvin Kokash, who's out on the convention floor right now. Hey there, Marvin. What are you finding out there?
Hey, Kevin. I am at the U.S. Premium booth here at the trade show, and I've got with me Tracy Thomas. Tracy, tell me about what's going on here at the U.S. Premium booth.
Marvin, we've had a great show tonight. We did a yakiniku style barbecue, which highlights the importance of the international market to U.S. producers. International markets are worth over $200 a head to us right now, and a nice way to tell that story to the members that are here is to barbecue product. We did a yakiniku style product. It's gone over very well.
Well, that is fantastic. I can see lines of people enjoying the beef, but most importantly, U.S. Premium Beef and National Beef did something very special to support the Second Harvest Food Bank. And with me tonight, I've got Carol Miller from the Second Harvest Food Bank. Tell us a little bit about this donation.
This donation is so important to Second Harvest Food Bank because our role is to also feed people, but to feed them the healthiest and safest food possible. And so we thank U.S. Premium Beef for this generous donation.
I know every donation goes a long way. Is there a website that people can go to donate to Second Harvest Food Bank?
You sure can. You can go to www.secondharvestmid10.org.
Well, that is fantastic. And this is the kind of people that are in the beef industry, the folks that reach out and support organizations like Second Harvest, U.S. Premium Beef, National Beef. Tracy, we really appreciate all the support that you give the industry and the folks out in this fine city of Nashville. Kevin, back to you at the set.
Thanks, Marvin. And let's continue our journey around the trade show floor and check in with Russell Nemitz. Hey, Russell.
Hey there, Kevin. That's right. We're back at the Merck Animal Health booth, this time visiting with Dr. Harold Newcomb about Merck Safeguard. And Dr. Newcomb, we want to let producers nationwide know tonight a little bit about Safeguard and why a parasite management type program on that farmer ranch is important to them.
Well, it's pretty simple. Parasites affect every segment of the cattle production system, whether you're a cow-calf guy, a stocker guy, feedlots, even dairy replacement heifers can be affected by parasites. And the parasites are effectively doing three things to the animals. The biggest thing they do is reduce feed intake, and from that you get a reduced average daily gain, and then they alter the immune response of that animal.
So what does this mean for cattlemen?
Well, a recent study by Iowa State has shown that it can affect the productivity of that animal up to $190 over its lifetime.
So I want to know, can an impaired immune function affect the overall vaccination performance?
Sure, there's hundreds of studies out there now that show that heavily parasitized animals actually don't perform as they should, and they have higher degrees of sickness or morbidity. And what we think is actually going on here is the excretions and secretions from the worms that are altering their immune system and making that animal not able to respond properly to viral vaccines or viral diseases.
Dr. Newcomb, I understand that Merck Animal Health has also recently been advising cattlemen to deworm their pastures. What's the goal behind this concept?
Well, it's pretty simple. If you think about it, 90 to 95% of the parasites are actually on the pasture at any one time, and only about 5 to 10% are in the animal. So what the goal is to deworm the animal when we can do the most damage to the parasites on the pasture. It's pretty easy to accomplish. What you just have to think about is this. Basically, when your pasture is at its best, most of the time the parasites are at their best. So in the spring, about 6 to 8 weeks after green up, if we deworm those cows, and then if you're in the deep south like we are here, 6 to 8 weeks later you apply another pasture application, what you've done is created a relatively parasite-safe pasture.
Now, for the viewers across the nation tonight, is there a website that we can visit to find a little bit more information about Safeguard?
Sure, it's safeguardcattle.com, or they can talk to their veterinarian or local animal health provider and develop a strategic deworming program for their operation.
Dr. Newcomb, thanks for joining us tonight on Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, that's going to do it for now from the Merck Animal Health booth. We'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Thanks again, Russell. Better beef sales. It's a winning situation for every sector of the beef business. And one new program is teaching frontline retail employees how to talk the talk when it comes to the meat case. Joining me in the studio is Kyle Pfeiffer with Merck Animal Health. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, first of all, just give us a little bit of a background and overview. What is the Better Beef Sales program all about?
Of course, Better Beef Sales is an online training tool targeted at the retail meat counter employee, that employee that interacts with our beef consumer on a daily basis. How we got to this is at Merck Animal Health, we've done a series of consumer panels that have shed some light on how consumers feel when they go to the retail counter, what they think about beef products, what they know and what they don't know about products. We found some great insights to consumer thought process when we did this work. One thing that came out of this was that consumers recognize that individual behind the counter wearing the white coat as the butcher. They expect that person to be knowledgeable about beef and be able to answer their questions. When we compiled this data and took it to our retail partners quickly identified that they could probably use a little more help, use some more tools and training resources to help educate their frontline employees about how to talk to beef to our consumers on a daily basis.
It's so critically important, especially with today's high beef prices. Now tell me this, it's a bit unique in that it was a partnership, if I understand, between NCBA and Merck. Why did you do that?
Well, like we said, we identified the concerns of our beef consumers, and we wanted to do something to help create value within the industry. So we took this, and if you look at the program, it is truly an educational program. If you look at NCBA, what NCBA does, they're very good about educating not only the industry, but our consumers. So it just seemed like a real natural fit.
So who is this a program available to, and how would we get access to it?
The program is targeted at frontline retail counter employees that interact with our consumers on a daily basis. It's housed on the beefretail.org website. So if you go to the website, you can click on the Better Beef Sales logo. You go in, you log on, create your username and password, and you can take the course. From there, we have 6 distinct modules talking about anything from animal welfare, sustainability, beef improvement technologies, and the different kinds of beef available in the beef case today. That's one thing our consumers really told us is, although there's a lot of choices in the beef case today, which is great, and the consumer loves the variety of choices, they're sometimes confused about what is available in the case and what those labels and what those marketing claims really do mean.
Well, thanks for all you and Merck are doing to clear up that confusion. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For more information on the Better Beef Sales program, visit beefretail.org. All right, let's see what Marvin Kokash is up to on the trade show floor. Marvin, where are you?
Kevin, I am the luckiest man in the trade show because I think I just won a new John Deere tractor. Maybe not. But who I've got with me tonight, I've got Mike Johning from John Deere. Mike, tell me a little bit about what you see as John Deere's role for fulfilling the needs of cattle producers.
Well, Marvin, you know we are very happy to be here in the relationship that we've built over the years between the NCBA and John Deere. And we are here because we value the producers that come here, that look at our equipment, We've got a wide variety of equipment here, including some of our yellow industrial equipment for moving feed. We also have a new harvest lab monitor that will help measure the constituents in feed, so it gives the producer a real-time look at what the feed is that they're putting into the cattle that they're feeding. So we're really happy to have different products like that might not necessarily be painted green and yellow, but we think that we can fulfill the needs in the parts and services and products that all of your cattle producers are looking for in the things that we try to get engaged in.
Well, that's fantastic. You know, there's John Deere has a wonderful booth here. Well, also with me tonight, I've got Rick Hahn. Rick, you've got a tremendous display of equipment. Tell me a little bit about what you have here.
We're great, Marvin. We're delighted to be here, and I'll tell you, we've got some new things for cattle producers, starting with this new 6R series tractors. We've got 3 models from 170 up to 210 horsepower. The great thing about them is that they're large enough that you can do row crop work with them, but nimble enough that they're a great loader tractor. Especially, you're going to like the new Comfort View cab on this. It's 20% larger than the previous models. Not only that, we've got extra hydraulic capacity on here, so you're going to get faster loader cycle times and much more responsive steering. And I think cattle guys will really like that. That's a 6R series, and I can't end this without talking about our new Gator SUV 550 S4. It's our new 4-passenger Gator. It's got best-in-class comfort, best-in-class customization. You can load it up with just a wide range of accessories, 1,200-pound capacity. Gotta like that. And on top of that, it's got great power and acceleration, and a top-end speed of 28 miles an hour. So I don't know of a cattle guy or cattle operation that couldn't benefit from this machine.
Rick, I tell you what, I really appreciate this. And I'm going to step over here because I think, oh, by the way, this Gator just does fit me. Kevin, I just won a new Gator. Hey, if somebody from home can send a trailer to Nashville, I'm bringing home a Gator. Kevin, back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Marvin. See how you are? You get me a pair of boots and you get a John Deere Gator. I don't know if that's a fair trade, but we'll see you in a bit. And we have plenty of more education and entertainment live from the 2012 NCBA Trade Show here in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be right back.
Everything's heating up at your John Deere dealer during the Green Fever sales event. You could win a $45,000 ultimate patio makeover by Belgard, or a brand new Airstream trailer, or one of 50 iPads in the Open Air, Open Road sweepstakes. Get to the Green Fever sales event at your John Deere dealer today for a hot deal, plus your chance to win big. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Sweepstakes ends February 29, 2012. See dealer or visit johndeere.com/greenfever for official rules.
Low-cost forage and improve grazing access by clearing out weeds and brush with these Dow AgroSciences herbicides. See your Dow AgroSciences representative or visit rangeandpasture.com.
Do you struggle to read the keys on your regular keyboard? Are you constantly hitting the wrong keys by accident? Then you need Easy Eyes, the new large print keyboard that makes typing easy on your eyes and more accurate too. Easy Eyes is ergonomically designed with big, bold print on all 104 keys, making it a joy to use. The secret is the high contrast colors and the oversized print, which is 4 times larger than the print on a standard keyboard. The Easy Eyes keyboard works with both PC and Mac computers and requires no complicated software to use. Just plug it in and it starts working right away. There's even a version that glows in the dark so you can work late without disturbing others. Now you can keep in touch with your kids and grandkids anytime without frustration and actually enjoy time spent on the computer instead of suffering from eye strain and headaches. Easy Eyes makes a great add-on keyboard for tiny laptops. It's the ideal gift for family members who can't see things like they used to, and it's perfect for kids who are just learning the computer. This one-of-a-kind keyboard is even spill-proof. Watch as we pour this entire glass glass of water over the keys. The liquid drains right out, and the keys work just like before. You could pay more than $60 for a keyboard of this quality, and you'd still struggle to see the keys. But call now, and the Easy Eyes large print keyboard is yours for only $14.95. And if you don't agree it's the best keyboard you've ever owned, return it for a full refund. We'll even include this matching ergonomic mouse, perfectly contoured to be easy on your hands. A $30 value, yours free. But order right now and we'll double the offer and give you a second Easy Eyes keyboard and the ergonomic mouse for the amazing low price of just $14.95. Just pay separate processing and handling. Call and order yours today.
To order Easy Eyes for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-898-1673. That's 1-800-898-1673 or order online at geteasyeyes.com.
Hello and welcome back to this special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. We're coming to you live from the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show here in Nashville, Tennessee. We're bringing you all the fun and excitement with the help of my two compatriots. Let's check in with Russell Nemitz, reporter with the Northern Ag Network from Montana. Hey, Russell.
Hey there, Kevin. I am actually in the Tampa Bay booth. That's because next year this very convention is headed just a little bit further south. The 2013 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show headed for Tampa Bay. And just for the record, I want folks to know that Florida is a lot more than just alligators and theme parks. It has a thriving cattle industry. But first, we've got a lot more to accomplish here in Nashville. So with that, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Thanks, Russell. We'll see you soon. And my other roving reporter is Marvin Kokash. Marvin, how's it going out there?
Kevin, I am the luckiest man. Not only did I just get that John Deere Gator, but I have a chance to meet the guy that helped me win my fantasy football league a couple of years ago. With me, I've got Kerry Collins, a retired quarterback from the Tennessee Titans. Kerry, you helped me out big time one year. Now I'm hoping that I can pay you back a little bit about having an organization that works for you in the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing since you retired.
Well, since I retired, I own Blue Q Ranch in Troy, North Carolina. It's about 1,600 acres. We run about 250 mama cows, mostly an Angus-based herd. We do crossbreeding with Simmentals, and we have a production sale March 10th in case anybody's interested in coming. But no, I love the cattle. I've had my farm now for about 10 years, and it's just been such a great thing for me outside of football that I really enjoyed putting my herd together and the farm and the land, everything that comes along with it. So,
well, everybody at home, it's a passion like this from professionals like Kerry Collins that we've got a great industry, that we've got great participants. And one of the things that I really, as I had a chance to chat with Kerry, is about the membership that he has in the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. We talked about why he thinks it's important. He knows that in Washington, D.C., we're protecting cattle producers' interests, and that allows him to have that great Angus herd. And Kerry, we really appreciate you taking some time with us tonight. Anything you'd like to share with our crew at home?
No, not really. I really just want to thank the NCBA for being such a great voice for all cattlemen, and it's great to be here and see all the other producers and vendors and everything, and I'm excited to be here.
Great. Kevin, it's having a great time here in the trade show. Back to you at the set.
Well, thank you, Marvin, for that great and special interview. We appreciate that. 2012 is already off to a banner start in terms of the cattle markets. And here to discuss the outlook is Randy Block. Randy, of course, is the Chief Executive Officer of CattleFax. Randy, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Kevin. My pleasure.
What an exciting time in the markets. Now, I want to begin with a question. 13 of the last 15 years, we've decreased this U.S. cow herd. Do you see any signs of expansion?
Oh, I think we're starting to see some early signs of expansion in the northern plains. We had great moisture conditions from Nebraska north through the Dakotas, even Colorado, Wyoming. We're starting to see a few more heifers kept back in those regions. So even though it's early on, that's the first indication we're seeing. Hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate with us. So we'll see a lot better moisture profile in the southern plains and see that region start to turn around here in the next 12 months or so.
Not just in terms of forage, but also grain. I mean, we've seen some incredibly high grain and forage prices. What's your predictions as we look out into 2012 and 13?
Well, I think when we step back, you're spot on. In 2011, we ended up with corn prices averaging about $6.75 a bushel. Just think about that kind of a number compared to all of those years where we had corn prices averaging about $2.50 a bushel. So on average, cost of gains increased 65 cents to put on a pound of gain from 2006 to 2011. That cost the industry nearly $10 billion in added feed costs. As we look at 2012, we expect we're going to grow more acres of corn. There will be another 2 to 4 million acres of corn planted. And at least looking today, it looks like we'll have favorable weather conditions. We should be able to start to grow these long-term supplies in corn and see these prices average lower here in 2012. I would guess corn prices will average $1 to $1.25 a bushel cheaper in 2012 than they did 2011.
Very good insight. Talk to us about exports. We've seen record exports, and thank God for that, because we're asking consumers here in the United States to pay more than they've ever paid for beef. How many dollars have the exports added to our industry, do you sense?
Well, the export side, I think, is been key. It's really where the lion's share of our demand growth has come here over the course of the last several years, and especially since we came through the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009. The exports in 2011 of beef will be about 2.8 billion pounds. Those 2.8 billion pounds, if you contrast that, that'll be the biggest year in the history of the industry. And not only from a beef standpoint, but we exported nearly 23% of our total pork supply out of the U.S. and 20% of the poultry. So 18% of all of the protein produced here in the United States was exported to consumers around the globe. When we bring that back to the beef industry, exports added $265 per head to the value of every fed steer and heifer in this industry. Phenomenal. So we have to keep expanding these export markets.
It's always good to talk to you. We never have enough time, but we will have you back to the show. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure, Kevin. Have a great convention. We're glad you're all here.
You bet. For more information and expert analysis, visit CattleFacts.com. All right, well, let's return to the trade show floor and reporter Russell Nemitz. Hey, Russell.
Hey there, Kevin. What an amazing time indeed for the U.S. beef cattle industry. Now we are at the Dow AgriSciences trade show booth, visiting with our friend Dave Owens. And Dave, talk about some of the factors that make forage so darn important for cattlemen, not only here in 2012, but in the foreseeable future.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, we're really excited to be in the forage production end of things. This year, it's going to be absolutely wonderful to see how much value we're going to bring to the cattle industry. With feedlot cost of gains up around $1.20 a pound, and you can actually get a pound of gain out there on the pasture for about 50 cents. We're going to see a lot more people taking advantage of forages this upcoming year. So it's going to be tremendous to help with that production.
So, Dave, as cattlemen plan for this year's grazing season, what should they really be thinking about?
Well, the key idea is to get out there in your pastures and control those weeds and brush early in the production cycle. You can get your best return on your investment that way. And for every pound of weeds you kill, you're going to get an extra pound of grass. And with hay prices at all-time highs and forage being really valuable this year when you compare it to the price of corn, it's a great, great time to get out there and really treat your pastures right.
Dave, I have to ask you, how can Dow AgriSciences help producers raise a little bit more pounds of beef on their rangeland and, of course, those pastures out there?
Well, I tell you, we've got a full line of products to utilize for weed and brush control. Some of our products are brand new and are really going to set the standard. We have a new mesquite product called Sendero that's going to be in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, and it's the new standard for mesquite control in the market. Gives us about 10 to 15% more control than some of the other past herbicides, and it's a much more consistent product. So we're really looking forward to giving those guys down in Texas that need a little break from the drought an additional break on controlling their mesquite a little bit better this year.
Helping to utilize and raise more pounds of beef on our rangelands and pastures. I like the sound of that. Dave Owens with Dow AgroSciences. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Kevin. With that, we're going to send it back to you now.
Thanks, Russell. We'll see you again soon. And now, from John Deere Gators to Stetson Boots and Tennessee Titans, Marvin keeps us going on an adventure. Marvin, where has the camera landed now?
Kevin, the adventure never ends for Marvin Kokash. I'm here at the Behringer Ingelheim booth, and they are one of the strongest supporters of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. So much going on. With me tonight, I've got Mr. Kevin Hendrick. Kevin, you had a big day at the convention. Tell me what Behringer was involved with this morning or today.
Well, Marvin co-sponsored the opening ceremony, which was great. I'd never heard Bill Donald speak. He did a tremendous job, and what seemed to be just from the heart presentation. But then the presentation by Marcus was just phenomenal. His story was riveting, and I think had the audience just glued to their seats. So that was our initial kickoff, was the sponsorship of the opening ceremony.
You know, Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, it was an amazing story. We had over 3,000 people in that general session. I'm excited to talk to you more about really a new direction that Behringer Ingelheim is taking in their cattle division. Tell me a little bit about this new platform that you're announcing this week.
Sure, Marvin. We're calling it Prevention Works, and we did show a video and speak to it in the opening ceremony as well, but it's a platform we introduced in November to our sales organization, and we rolled out to 100 veterinarians in Arizona last week. And we're highlighting here at the show. Prevention Works is our concept to build our R&D efforts, our manufacturing, and our sales and marketing campaigns around. And it's trying to bring beef and dairy animals to a healthy state. And we think this is the right platform for livestock production. We think it's the right thing for the consumer. It's what they're demanding: healthy beef and milk, eggs, and protein. And as well, the right thing for the customer and the right thing for the animal by preventing disease.
You know, anytime you launch a new platform, new campaign, you've got a lot of sales folks out there that your sales force, you know, they need to embrace it. Tell me how they've taken on the challenge of this new platform, and tell me what some of their response has been.
Absolutely. We have sales reps that have been on territories for 30 plus years, and we have those that have just began their sales career. And all in all, they've accepted it wholeheartedly. They are very excited about it. They know it's the right message. They know it's the right direction. And so it's going to become a habit for them that when they work with a producer or a veterinarian in our business, they're going to always be striving to help bring that operation to a healthier state. They can be more successful, they can be more sustainable whenever they can prevent disease than treating. And although we have products to treat various diseases, we recognize that we won't get all animals to that healthy state. We think that the direction is try to get more and more of the herds and animals into a healthy state of production.
You know, we're just here the first night of the trade show. We've got 2 more days of the trade show being open. Again, we're open from 10 to 5 each day on Thursday and Friday. Tell the folks at home why they should get in the car, come down to Nashville, Tennessee, to the Gaylord property, and come to the Behringer booth. Tell me what they can learn here.
Well, first and foremost, we're doing back massages. So we've got 4 chairs. They'll be going all day tomorrow and all day Friday. Come get some stress relief with your upper back and neck. But more importantly, come hear about Prevention Works. Come talk to our staff here. We've got quite a few sales reps and folks from marketing here to describe what we're up to. We are going to be sponsoring some things in the next couple of days as well. The honky tonk, and we've got the Top Hand Award presentation. So that we'll be busy with a lot of those sponsorships. So come to the booth, hear more about Prevention Works. We do have some prizes. If you'll listen to us, we have some giveaways to take advantage of, but please do come by.
Great. Well, Kevin, I really appreciate all of the Behringer's support of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And Kevin, sorry you're stuck at the stage again, but I think I'm going to check out one of these old massages because my old dogs are starting to bark walking around this big trade show floor. Back to you in the set.
Thanks, Marvin. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. We're glad to have you with us for this special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, live from Music City. We'll be back with more from the NCBA trade show right after this.
When respiratory diseases hit the herd, it doesn't take long before your calves are drowning in complications. Unless you have them prepared, get them ready with Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ. This one easy vaccine will protect your herd from a range of ailments. Hey, there is plenty of fresh air out here. Make sure your calves get their fill. Go on now. Take care of your cattle, and they'll take care of you.
Preventing cattle pink eye is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Vaccinate your animals with Piligard Pink Eye TriView to provide pink eye fighting antibodies in the tears that bathe the eye. Broad spectrum protection that cross-reacts with 103 different strains of pink eye causing bacteria. 2. Stop the flies that spread pink eye bacteria throughout the herd. Apply double barrel VP ear tags and Ultra Boss Poron for up to 5 months of face fly and horn fly control. 3. Manage the environment to reduce damage to the animal's eye from seed heads, pollen, and UV light, irritants that increase the risk of pink eye infection. With the right tools, preventing pink eye is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
If you like RFD TV, you're gonna love Rural TV, a new second television network to better serve the rural world. Set to launch in February, Rural TV will expand on RFD TV's popular family-oriented programming format. More ag, more equine, more traditional music and entertainment. All the viewer requests not possible to add to RFD TV will now air on Rural TV. So get ready, rural America. Rural TV is coming. Stay tuned for details.
Horsemanship in America has changed an unbelievable amount in the last 10 years. And it's done it thanks to America's most important network, RFD TV. Make sure you join me every week on America's most important network, RFD TV, in discovering the horseman within.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marty Stewart. Join me in Nashville, Tennessee as we take a ticket to ride. It's for the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's a great chance for networking, education, and fun, and it's your chance to see an exclusive event at one of my favorite venues, the Grand Ole Opry. It's February 1st through the 4th. Now get details at beefusa.org and check me out on the Marty Stewart Show on RFD TV.
RFDTV.com is brand new, inside and out. There is a lot to see and do at RFDTV.com. There, you'll find a schedule of your favorite programs and detailed show descriptions. See up-to-date Market Minute video reports, current news, blogs, and events. View photo galleries or even share a photo of your own. Become a country club member and watch your favorite shows anytime online. Visit the new RFDTV.com today.
Thanks for joining us for this special live edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen from Nashville, Tennessee. Let's return to reporter Marvin Kokash to see what he's up to out there on the trade show floor. Marvin?
Kevin, you may have just renegotiated your contract, but while you've been kind of fooling around there on the stage, I'm just kind of putting the finishing touches on my sandcastle here. I'm a busy guy. I get a lot done. You know, this is the kind of thing, I'll work for a couple more days, get a nice big sandcastle built here while you're taking a little rest, kind of hanging out the set, you know, being a little bit of a cowboy diva. But I'm hard at work for cattlemen and these convention attendees because I want to show them some the coolest stuff in the trade show. Kevin, you can top that one, buddy.
Not, but thank you, Marvin. We'll be back to you soon. And now our other fearless reporter from the Big Sky country of Montana, Russell Nemitz. Russell, what have you found?
Well, I haven't found the sandbox like Marvin Kokash has, but we are still having a ton of fun out here on the NCBA trade show floor. And we're back at the Merck Animal Health booth, and with us on Cattlemen to Cattlemen again is Dr. Eric Moore. And Dr. Moore, we want to talk about pink eye because it seems to be a reoccurring problem for a lot of cattlemen nationwide. What does pink eye actually cost per head?
Well, traditionally, we think a cat that gets pink eye is going to cost us a $100 bill. In today's prices, that's even higher.
So how do you arrive at that $100 figure?
Well, if you look at a cat that gets pink eye, it's going to be sore. It's not going to want to nurse as much. A lot of times, they'll come off 40 to 60 pounds lighter at weaning time, so you have that production loss. Additionally, when they take to the sale barn, there's been studies that shown that $11.75 per hundredweight reduction in a discount on calves with pink eye in the auction ring. So you get a loss of production and a discounted calf at the auction ring. It's twofold.
You know, for all of us that are with you tonight, maybe remind us how we get pink eye in the first place.
Well, pink eye is definitely caused by an irritation of the cornea of the eye of the calf. And so when that irritation, whether it be from UV light, dust, pollen, seed heads, flies occurs, that gives the bacteria that causes pink eye to take hold, and that's Moraxella bovis. What then happens is you'll get a big spread of that through face flies feeding on the tearing that comes out of that infected eye.
So if this is how pink eye starts, Dr. Moore, how does it spread so rapidly from our animal to animals?
Well, that face fly will travel from animal to animal, and that tearing that starts, it'll carry the bug, cause irritation. The animals are in the same environment that has irritation, whether it be UV light, seed, dust, or flies, all have the same exposure. And once that bacteria takes hold, it'll spread through the feeding of the face fly from animal to animal.
So how does a cattleman prevent pink eye?
Well, you have to use a three-prong attack because you have to work with vaccination program, a good, solid vaccination program. We carry a product, Piligard Pink Eye TriView, that cross-reacts to 103 of the strains of bacteria that causes pink eye. That produces an antibody that bathes the eye and protects it. Secondly, you have to control the face flies, and we use pour-ons like Ultra Boss, Ultra Saber, and also use insecticide ear tags like Double Barrel to knock the fly population down. And lastly, you have to control the environment by knocking weeds down, keeping them where they're not causing irritation, eating into bale feeders where it scratches the eye to reduce and eliminate pink eye in your herd.
So finally, is there a website we can visit for more information?
Absolutely. www.stopcattlepinkeye.com has all this information on it. It's readily available to you.
Dr. Eric Moore with Merck Animal Health, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, that's going to do it now for the Merck Animal Health booth. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Russell, for bringing us those informative interviews. Keep up the great work tonight. All right, well, let's continue with our producer education segments and return to Marvin Kokash on the trade show floor. Marvin, what are you going to educate us about this time?
Kevin, I'm here at Central Life Sciences with Mr. Tom Macbeth. You know, I've had a chance to work with Central Life Sciences over the years. They're a great supporter of NCBA. Let the folks know at home, who is Central Life Sciences and what do you do with the beef industry?
Central Life Sciences is basically an insect control company. And for the beef industry, we supply several products, primarily Alticid IGR feed-through and Clarifly larvicide. They're feed-through products for the control of horn flies and on pasture cattle and feedlot and dairy flies.
You know, this time of the year, we may not think of flies, right off the bat, but before you know it, it'll be springtime and there'll be flies. Tell me a little bit about, how big a problem flies are for the cattle industry.
Most people don't realize it, but just the horn flies on pasture cattle, the cows and the yearlings, they are as expensive as what respiratory disease is out of the pockets of producers every year. Horn flies are the most costly external parasite of cattle in North America. And around feedlots and dairies, it's a huge amount, and most people don't have any idea how much their flies cost them, whether in your feedlot or whether you're in a pasture cattle situation.
I know I grew up in the cattle business, and there's a something nice about when your cows just aren't fighting flies and they're taken care of. You know, tell me a little bit about some of the products that Central Life Sciences offers to cattle producers.
Well, of course, Alticid IGR feed-through and Clarifly larvicide. We also make some housefly baits, Quick Strike scatter bait, golden mallard, which we've had for years, Quick Strike abatement strip. We also make one of the most effective stable traps available to keep blood-feeding flies off of the cattle in a feed yard. And that certainly has a big effect on gains and conversions.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's one thing, and given today's market and the cost of gains and things like that, we need to try to make sure we gain every advantage we can in the health of that animal to take care of them. So we really appreciate everything that Central Life Sciences does with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And Kevin, there's just so much more to see here in the trade show. I'm excited to bring you more, but back to you in the set.
Thanks again, Marvin, and we'll look forward to circling back to you in just a few moments. And what about Russell Nemitz? How's it going out there, Russell?
Boy, we are having a ton of fun out here on the NCBA trade show floor booth. We are actually now at the Pfizer Animal Health booth, and we're visiting with Dr. J.P. Polreese, and some excitement here tonight, Dr. Polreese, because here at the 2012 Cattle Industry Convention and Trade Show, Pfizer is launching Advocin, which is a new treatment option for bovine respiratory disease. Talk about Advocin, please.
Advocin is a new option. It's a new cost-effective fluoroquinolone antibiotic for the treatment of bovine respiratory disease. It's one more antibiotic in our portfolio that brings solutions to our customers to tackle this costly problem.
Dr. Polreese, explain for the viewers nationwide why it was so darn important for Pfizer to provide another treatment option for BRD with this new product, Advocin.
You know, I spoke about this at our seminar yesterday. BRD remains the most costly disease problem that cattlemen deal with across the United States, in fact, across the world. BRD is not BRD. It's different in different scenarios. We can have different disease agents, cattle that are susceptible to it for different reasons. So it makes a lot of sense to have as many tools in our toolbox to treat BRD as possible. So that's why we're excited to bring one more option.
So what you're saying is managing BRD is pretty darn important for cattlemen.
Absolutely. BRD not only costs cattlemen in the form of death loss and chronic rates, the very subtle costs, the tip of the iceberg, if you will, are the losses of performance and even the losses of quality in meat when those animals go to the packing plant. So managing BRD is absolutely vital to the producer's bottom line and really to the product that we all are interested in this whole convention.
And finally, with all the treatment options out there for BRD these days, how should producers decide which one to use?
That's a great question. We at Pfizer really believe strongly in the veterinary client-patient relationship. We believe that every producer should have a veterinarian that they trust, that they work with in their operation, not to just provide manual services, but to provide them input as a partner in designing their health programs, including their antibiotic program. So for us to come out at Pfizer and say this is the way that all producers should use our products or competitive products, quite frankly, would be inappropriate. So what we're going to do is defer that to the veterinarian, to the producer to have those discussions, and it's our job to provide the information behind our products to help them make those decisions.
Thank you, Dr. Polreese, and we certainly appreciate all of the efforts from our friends at Pfizer Animal Health for the entire industry. Kevin, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks again, Russell, and thank you to our friends at Pfizer as well. And our live coverage of the 2012 NCBA Trade Show in Nashville, Tennessee continues right after this.
Horn flies irritate cattle and can negatively affect the profit of your beef operation. Financial losses include decreased weight gains, feed efficiency, and milk yields. For as little as 3 to 5 cents per head per day, Alticid IGR is a feed-through that goes to work in cattle manure where horn flies lay their eggs. Alticid IGR prevents horn fly larvae from developing into breeding, biting adults. Keep your cattle peaceful, profitable, and horn fly free with Alticid IGR in your supplement program.
To learn more, visit AlticidIGR.com or contact your feed dealer. And be sure to visit booth 428 at the NCBA Trade Show.
These days, more cattlemen choose Draxxin to fight BRD than any other brand. Here's why.
It works, but we have fewer repulls, and the ones that we do repull respond, and we have fewer chronics in the end.
To retreat anything is
it's a lot more expensive than using Draxxin as a first time.
And the evidence backs up what most cattlemen already know. Draxxin cuts retreats by 50%. So talk to your veterinarian and check the online calculator at Draxxin.com. You'll see why Draxxin should be your first choice to fight BRD.
Basically, what it's allowed us to do with our operation is run more cattle through in a given period of time. It's just really been a good product to use.
Do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Do not use in calves to be processed for veal. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Please visit Draxxin.com or call 1-888-DRAXXIN for more information.
I'm Aaron Ralston, and I'm the host of an exciting new show on RFD TV called The Ride. Join me as I visit some of the country's best coaches and trainers in order to prepare for the Circle-Wide Derby in San Angelo, Texas. So tune in, sit back, and hold on for the ride every Monday right here on RFD TV.
Hi everybody, I'm Ronnie Reno and this is my great band, the Reno Tradition. We're doing some new shows and we've got some new guests and some new songs, all kinds of new stuff happening right here on RFD TV, rural America's most important network.
Catch Reno's Old Time Music, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on RFD TV, rural America's most important network. Don't miss one exciting episode of The Adventures of the Haygoods right here on RFD TV. Get a first-hand look into the life and music of one of Branson, Missouri's most popular and entertaining performing families. Watch the 7 brothers and 1 sister in their weekly live performance featuring tight harmonies and high energy on stage. And then follow them on an adventure in and around the Ozark Mountains. It's fun for the whole family, so join us right here Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. and then again Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
Saddle up and ride along with the Women's Professional Rodeo Association, the oldest organized women's sporting association in the world and America's #1 sport, rodeo. You'll experience fierce competition, meet the superstars, and get tips from our pros, the nation's top cowgirls on some of the finest horses in the country. Watch Women's Pro Rodeo Today, the official video magazine of the Women's Professional Rodeo Association.
Welcome back to Music City and our live broadcast from the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. We still have a few more stops out there on the trade show floor. Hey, Russell, how's it going for you?
Boy, things are going good out here. Again, a record attendance here at this year's convention, and what an NCBA trade show. Now, we know none of this would be possible without the generosity of our viewers and, of course, our producers across this great nation of ours. And we actually ran into one of those producers, Brantley Ivy from Independence, Virginia. Now, Brantley, is this your first NCBA convention?
This is not my first. This is actually my second. It made such an impression on me the first time that I came back again.
Now let's talk about what you've seen and heard so far and maybe your encouragement to other producers like yourselves to come to Tampa Bay next year.
Well, I tell you, if you're in the cattle industry, this is just a must-go-to event. Anything that you're involved in your industry, it's offered here. They talk about it. You can learn about it. It's really, you get a big bang for your buck to get here.
And before we toss it back to Kevin, just tell us about your operation there in Independence, Virginia.
We're a cow-calf operation, also do some stocker. We're also in the direct beef retail business. So we do an awful lot of stuff on a small amount of acreage, and all of the issues are covered here.
Well, thanks for letting us put you on the spot, and thanks for being such a huge supporter of America's beef cattle industry.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, just one of the many supporters and great American cattlemen out there to speak of. We'll send it back to you.
Hey, thanks for giving us some perspectives from one of our members. International markets are key to growing beef demand, and they're an area we're making significant progress in. Joining me in the studio are Dan Hallstrom, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications with the U.S. Meat Export Federation, and Anne-Marie Boshammer, Executive Director of the Nebraska Beef Council. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Dan, we've had a record-breaking year in terms of exports. What does it mean for the U.S. beef cattle producers, and what does the future look like?
Well, Kevin, it's all about value, and you're exactly right. We have a record year in 2011. We're forecasting over $5.3 billion, by far a record in export sales of U.S. beef. And you can attribute that to the major markets, Mexico, China, Korea, Japan. But the hidden lighting here is that the Middle East and South America, Peru in particular, is seeing fantastic growth in some regions that traditionally aren't as strong as some others. And, I'm really optimistic going forward because as good as it's been this year, you look at two of our major markets, Japan and Korea, we're still far behind where we were pre-BSE. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to gain more share as we go into 2012.
That's outstanding. Anne-Marie, you come from a huge beef state. And as we think about state beef councils, they play an active role in international marketing. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, foreign marketing is very important to state beef councils, and Nebraska in particular. We actually invest about 18% of our budget to foreign marketing. And obviously there's two ways that we can do that. One is through our voluntary contribution to the Federation of State Beef Councils, but then also direct projects. And one of the examples that I would have is we just worked with USMEF last summer on a Central America product showcase where we were able to bring in buyers, and it was phenomenally accepted by buyers and people across the globe. And that's what's important, is so we can actually show that we're moving pounds of beef.
Thank you both for all you're doing. This is really driving demand for U.S. beef, and I think there's some great days ahead.
There are.
I agree.
For more information on international beef trade, visit usmef.org. And we still have more education and information ahead. Let's head back out to Russell Nemitz. Hi, Russell.
All right, thanks again, Kevin. We're back at the Merck Animal Health booth, this time visiting with Dr. Wade Nichols about Zilmax. So for producers out there watching tonight's episode of Cattlemen to Cattlemen, tell us what the heck Zilmax is.
Well, sir, Zilmax is a feed supplement that we feed the last 20 days of the feeding period. It improves the metabolism of the animal to the point where we're getting more out of that high expensive feed stuff that they're feeding the animals today. It improves the margin in the animals by increasing hot carcass weight by about 33 pounds in steers, 24 pounds in heifers. It improves the dressing percent or yield by about 1.5 points. And most importantly, it decreases the yield grade 4s and 5s in the cattle that we're trying to get the quality in, trying to overfeed them, and that's a waste. So Zilmax really helps in that aspect, in improving the cattle and the margin in the cattle.
So with that said, Dr. Nichols, what's new with Zilmax this year?
Well, Zilmax is actually doing very, very well. It's allowing the beef industry to do a lot more with a lot less. We're improving, like I said, the margin in the cattle and producing more quality beef per pound per head. And that, with the high input costs that we have today in terms of feeders and feed costs and things, being more efficient is very, very important to the industry.
I was going to ask, with those tight supplies and stronger demand for choice beef, how can Zilmax help those cattle feeders out there?
Well, it all has to do with utilizing technology and understanding the technology that they're utilizing, and Zilmax being a very important part of that technology process. So we talk a lot about feeding the right cattle for the right time, the right dose, and the right marketing strategy so that we get those cattle to a finished endpoint and they're able to maintain that quality that they naturally have within the animal itself. And then when we do that, we're producing more quality beef per head, which helps us in the entire U.S. market.
As we look downstream, what's the value of Zilmax to all those U.S. beef consumers out there?
Zilmax allows us to put more beef on the market that is safe, palatable, and affordable, so that when that housewife, she goes to the grocery store, that she knows she's buying a safe product, which is very important to all of us. We want to feed a safe product to our kids. It's a highly palatable product, so that, that's what we demand out of our beef. And when she goes to the meat case, she knows she's getting a very good value for her dollar.
Maybe just talk about the impact on some of those environmental resources out there.
Well, the entire agriculture community always has to do more with less. It's the way the world is going today, and the beef industry is no different. So Zilmax allows us, again, to produce more beef per head, and that uses less land, less resources, less water, less feed. We have the smallest cow herd we've had since 1952. If we had the same production practices now as we did in 1952, then we would have to have the landmass of Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska just to meet the demand that we have today. And that demand is not only domestic, which is very good, but also our export demand, which is very, very important to maintaining the price level that we are today.
That is an incredible figure you just shared. For additional details about this product, how do we find out more?
Well, contact your Merck Animal Health representative would be the number one. You can call us a tech service at any time. We're willing to come visit with anybody at any time. And also your consulting nutritionist. They're very, very important in terms of getting this product started.
Dr. Nichols, thank you for being with us tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for all you do.
All right, Kevin, with that, we'll send it back to you now.
Thanks again, Russell, and we'll circle back to you one more time before the night is through. All right, well, let's check in with Marvin Kokash one more time. What have you found for us this time, Marvin?
Kevin, I am at the Novartis Animal Health booth, and I have some exciting news for you after I do my little interview here with Mr. Scott Morey. So pay attention, Kevin. Scott, you've got some great products out there. Tell me a little bit more about Nuflora PH, what type of vaccine it is, and how cattle producers can take advantage of this.
Well, Marvin, that would be Nuflora PH. We're pretty excited about it. Not often do you get to launch one new product, but we're also launching 2 new products here at NCBA this week. Nuflora is the newest Pasteurella vaccine on the market in over 10 years. So we think we've got a good opportunity there. It's a Mannheimia hemolytica product, and Mannheimia hemolytica is the major cause of Pasteurella issues with the cattle herd today.
How is Nuflora PH different than some of the older Pasteurella vaccines that cattle producers have used in the past? Tell me what the difference is.
Okay. Well, the biggest difference is Nuflora PH is the first recombinant cattle vaccine on the market in the U.S. There are some other recombinant products in poultry and swine, but it is the first recombinant technology. And what that means, it's more consistent and smoother on cattle. It has the same level of leukotoxins in every bottle, so we think it's going to perform very well out in the field.
I bet you it will. Tell us about BRD Shield. What diseases does it protect against, and what's new or different about this vaccine?
Okay, BRD Shield is our new 5-way modified live vaccine. What separates it from the other modified lives that are on the market, it is a non-cytopathic vaccine, and non-cytopathic accounts for about 95% of the BRD issues.
What type of cattle should producers be using BRD Shield in for optimal disease prevention?
Sure. BRD Shield, we really target those younger calves and stockers. That's where the product should be used in non-pregnant cattle. So our whole protocol with the beef cattle would be for reproductive females, come in with that non-cytopathic modified live as the first dose, and then follow that up with Virus Shield, being our inactivated vaccine. That's really what we're recommending is the best medicine for or the best vaccination protocol for the replacement females. And when you get to the terminal cattle, BRD Shield can be used all the way through to present, type 1, type 2 BVD, PI3s, BRSV, and, the major issues of bovine respiratory disease.
Scott, we have so many professionals here in the Novartis Animal Health booth. Just encourage folks to come down here and talk to these professionals. They've got a lot of solutions for you at home. And for those folks that are here in the trade show, visits your Novartis Animal Health sales rep. They can take care of you. Kevin, here's the deal. It is my lucky night. I need to go get a Powerball ticket. So I show up at the Novartis booth, and I see they're giving an iPad 2 away every day. It's Wednesday. Huh. Look at us, the winner. I can't believe it. I'm so lucky. Folks, we still have drawings down here at the Novartis booth. Come down. Maybe you can win an iPad too. Kevin, back to you in the studio.
Thanks again, Marvin. You have time for one more destination, and we'll be back in just a few minutes for a final wrap-up. We'll return with a final conclusion from the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show up next.
If you aren't implanting your calves with Ralgrow, you're leaving money on the table. Ralgrow is tried and true technology that increases average daily gains and improves your utilization of pasture resources. Ralgro can increase weaning weight in steers and heifers by as much as 20 to 35 pounds, which lowers your break-even point and puts more money in your pocket. Don't leave money on the table. Go to www.ralgro.com to learn more.
Dust off those boots and come join us in Tampa, Florida for the 2013 Boots on the Bay Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. This is your chance to network with industry leaders, participate in important cattle industry meetings, and learn about the newest technologies available. See what all the buzz is about at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Tampa, Florida, February 6th through the 9th. For more information, visit beefusa.org.